So the first kind of type thing that you want to do, we'll use what's called your skew or your shear tool. If you select an object, in this case I've got Team 4, first of all I'm going to change the color of it, and I don't have it pre-selected, but I know I want the word team to be orange and the word 4 to be black, because I can see that in my example up here at the top. Let's change team, I'll just do it quickly to that particular color of orange. If I wanted to skew it or shear it, I'm not just rotating it, I actually want it to be a little bit wonky. I don't know how else to describe it. That's the best way to do it. There's a tool. It's underneath your scale tool. It's called the shear tool. And the icon kind of gives you an idea of what it does. With it selected, if I start to click and drag, you can see that it'll start doing this. And very quickly you can go out of hand. So be careful about dragging. I'm not having to move it much before it starts to go off too quickly. When I let go, you can see that's what it's doing. The center point, if you look very, very closely, it's cyan, it's light blue right there in the middle. Everything that's moving is moving around that base point. I'm going to undo what I have. With my tool selected, if I click and hold, in this case I'm going to click and hold on the left-hand side, you can see now that I've moved it to that side. Y'all see it? I know it's real small. This will make it a little bit easier to move things around. It's going to move around that particular point. I can even hold down my shift key and I can move either up or down, and you can see, whoop, there we go. It will skew it up or down this way. Like I said, sometimes it'll get off by a little bit. What I want to do is to move it until the top or the bottom edge is nice and aligned with that one. 1 second. Excuse me. Y'all can go back and watch the video and hear me sneeze again. Once I've got it skewed, it would be a simple matter of placing it where I want it to go, and then I'm just using my regular move tool to scale it and to move it into place. But now it fits that particular area nice and easy. Same way for the word 4. Select it, use the shear. In this case, I want to move this edge, so I'm going to click and hold on this side. There's my little dot, and I can move it up, and I'm looking at my top edge of 4 and the top edge of the box. Then I use my move tool to move it into place. Very, very simple. It's a very powerful tool. I don't have to use it often, but when I do, it makes it much, much easier rather than to have to do warping or object distortions, those kinds of things. All cool? Y'all want to see that again? Easiest thing. Here's a little bit more difficult. For the second one, you can see in our example, this one we're going to just use straight type at the top. That'll be easy. But this one I want it to follow the curvature of the bottom edge here. And to do this we need to do a type on a path. If you haven't seen this before, I'll do this as really quickly as a refresher. If you have a path and you can draw it with your pen tool or draw it with any vector line, in this case I'll just quickly draw off something here. I've got my line. I can use my type tool. With it selected, I can hover very close to it and you can see it changes to this particular icon. When I click once, it recognizes the line and it gives me a blinking cursor. Now whatever I type will follow along the path. And it works like any other type of type selection. I can highlight it, I can change the size, the font, or whatever. Even if I get overset text, it'll give me the little plus sign, and I can change that up as well. Also pay attention to your alignment. If you want things centered or if you want things left or right aligned, make sure that's selected as well. When I deselect it, notice that I lost the shape of my line, so your line will become invisible, but you will have type on top of it. So that's what we're going to do down here, specifically to follow the Mississippi College Department of Art. What's challenging about this is trying to draw a line that matches perfectly that particular U shape. If you use your pen tool and try to draw it, you can probably do a pretty good job freehanding, but it's not going to be perfect. even with the new ones, you can see it's going to start to get off by a little bit. I'm going to make it easy. Most crest shapes, at least the ones that I'm giving you, are made up of simple compound shapes. So this is half of a circle here, here's a rectangle up here. As a matter of fact, if I just choose my ellipse tool and I draw a perfect circle, remember, hold down your shift key. I'm using my space bar to place it in there. I'm going to draw a circle that matches the bottom edge of this crest. And you can see it's off by just a hair, but I can even tweak it, excuse me, to get it perfect. That bottom edge is following it nice and perfectly. That's the edge that I want to keep. I'm going to grab my direct selection tool, get rid of this top edge, select that point. When I hit delete, I'm left with that particular line right there. Have I lost everybody? Real simple. Now it's simply a matter of drawing another line straight up from here. Grab my pen tool and attach extra points, excuse me, to there. I'm going to grab a sip of coffee. All right, I've got my path. There it is. Next thing I need to do is to type my type inside of it. Grab my type tool. Oops. By the way, all of the fonts that we're going to be using will be in Myriad. It'll just be a matter of uppercase or sizing. M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I. See a college. Option 8 will give me my little bullet point. Department of Art. Then it's simply a matter of highlighting it and choosing the correct size. Let me open up my character palette. Make all my adjustments necessary. You can make it larger. You can change your type to, I'm going to make it bold. There we go. Now it's filling up. And I want Mississippi to start here and art to end right there. Some other things to think about is the spacing of your characters. You can get away with double spacing between words, especially if there's two different kinds of words, if that means spacing things out. Or you can highlight everything and increase your leading, and excuse me, not leading, your tracking, to space the words out until it matches nice and perfectly right there. The main thing is you want it to look balanced. If I tried to just space all of that out, this may get off center. Other words may be crowded on one side, not crowded on another side. Once I've got my line established, it's simply a matter of working with the text to place it in there as well. The second thing is, notice how much space I have between this side and this side. With my type selected, I can now scale it in. I'm going to hold down my shift key. I'm going to scale it from the bottom so that the other sides match up as well. I could grab one side and bring it in, or grab the other side and tweak it until it's perfect. Now it looks much more balanced between the two. And I can also change the color that I'm working with for this one. The only thing that I would need to add is the word graphic design and some bullet points on each side, but that's an easy one to work with from there. Pretty cool? Keep it simple. If you find yourself overworking the shape, then you've gone too far. Same way for this one, special teams, and the words established since 1859. If I'm looking at this, I know it's a curved surface, and it's going to follow the curvature of this particular circle. So I'm going to start off with a circle. Give yourself that line. Let's swap out my fill and stroke. Remember, you can hold down the Option key, and that'll give you a circle from the center point out. Also, my Shift key will give me a perfect circle. I'm going to make a line that's just off of the other one. Here's the next fun thing to know. I don't need a full circle. I really just need that part of the circle that's on top of it right there. So what I'm going to do is underneath your eraser tool, you've got a scissors tool. Think of the scissors as cutting string. In this case, I've got a circle of string. Wherever I clip, it's going to cut right there. And if I clip it again on this side, I've actually got two different shapes now. I've cut it there, and I've cut it here. Now I'm left with that piece. I could actually delete away this piece. And I'm going to use this top line as my line. Let's grab my type tool. What do I need to type? Special team. Again, get close to the line. When I click on it, this time I want my alignment to be centered. So I'm going to choose center. Uh-oh, when I start typing, what's happened? Where'd all my letters go? Running off the line. Here's why that happened. I clicked here, but it's doing the center between this point and this end point. And so that's why everything is over to this side. If this happens, here's how you correct it. Grab your white arrow, your direct selection tool. Notice now I've got 3 different lines, a starting line, a midpoint, and an ending line. I can actually click on these lines and choose my starting and ending point. And actually this is my midpoint and that's my ending point. So I just need to drag over where it starts and stops. And I'm just bringing it to that side. Now you can see it's nice and center aligned from here. I can even change my colors from here. Same way for the word established from here. It's in a circle, so let's draw off our circle. Again, I'm holding down Shift and Option. I'm going to grab my type tool. Here's the next thing to be aware of. I'm going to change my color so you can actually see my line. I've got a filled in circle, complete shape. If I was to click on it now, it's not going to type on my line, it's actually going to type inside of my shape. Not exactly what I want. So I'm going to undo that. Instead of doing that, so one option is a type in area. The tool that I'm going to use is type on path. This will keep it along the path that I'm working on. Now when I click, remember I still had it set to center. Well, let's see. ESTABL. Established. Bullet point. Since. Bullet point. 1859. All this looks good. Now it's simply a matter of maybe I can adjust my leading. Keep on call it leading. Tracking till it goes all the way around. Actually, I need a bullet point right there, so let's bring some of that in a little bit. Got one bullet point, space, bullet point. Now everything looks well spaced out. If I needed to rotate it, well, it's already a circle. It's simply a matter of rotating the whole thing until the word established is up here at the top. What I'm looking for this particular exercise is that what you create comes as close as possible to the example that I give you. Again, I do want it to look good, so the other thing I'm looking for is the space between here and the space between the top. I may have to do some adjustments of the placement for it. Nudging things around, doing a little bit better job of how everything looks. Let's back it out. All cool? Okay, here's the next tricky one. For this one, I also have circular type, but it doesn't completely go all the way around. I'm reading it one way here, and then I'm reading it left to right at the bottom and at the top. It's not making a complete circle. So actually what I need is 2 circles to work with. Grab my circle tool, Option and Shift. This time I'm going to make just one circle that fits inside of this one. I want the top half here to say Special Teams. I want the bottom half to say Department of Art. I'm going to grab my scissors tool again. With the scissors, I can cut it in half. Click here and click here. Got 2 circle halves. From here, just bring this one down. And then I'm going to scale it out to fill the rest of the circle. So far so good. Haven't lost anybody. 2 halves of the circle. Let's grab our type tool. Type on path will do the same thing. Top one, Special Team. Select all. I'm going to reset my, and of course I need to use my white arrow direct selection tool. Look right on the line and place it right here. If I type down here, Department of Art, what's wrong with that?
It's upside down.
Upside down. It's on the wrong side of the line. Wait a minute. Here's how to fix this. Grab your direct selection tool again. Remember I said you've got a left, a right, and a middle little line? If you click on the middle line and drag it inward, see it'll flip over to the other side. Department of RE. Art. Once it's flipped to the other side, then you can continue typing from this one. This will work for any kind of line that you're working on. So if you draw one shape and you need it to be on the other side, the direct selection tool is what will allow you to flip it from there as well. From here, it's simply a matter of changing your size and changing your placement to make sure everything fits nice and snug inside of that particular area. It's more than just moving it up and down. You have to play around with the size and placement. I won't bore you all with see how that fits, but you can see in the example of what I'm looking for. The final one. This one's not difficult at all. We're going to create a line that follows this bottom border of the ribbon. In this case, you're just using your pen tool. We don't need a fill. And we're going to draw it in a way that matches as close as possible. Doesn't have to be 100%. That bottom edge. And that would do. I would use my direct selection tool to kind of clean up that to make it look nice and even, nice and crisp. Using my type tool, it's simply a matter of now typing R-O-Y. You run out of space, simply select it, resize it, and then keep moving from there. The main thing is you want the R, the A, all the way to the T to follow that particular edge. You can move things up to recenter it. You can readjust your line as necessary to center it out from there. Once you are finished, simply save it as an Illustrator file and upload the Illustrator file to Moodle. Again, we're only using the font Myriad Pro, and in particular I'm using bold to recreate all of that text. For your patch designs, whenever you place the words camp, whenever you place the words Hood Scout or the date on there, think about how it's going to flow around the edges of your patch. Is there some dynamic way of doing it, especially if you want to get it out of the way of any scene or any image that you created for your project? Cool? Any questions, ideas on that? Also, just to make you all aware, let's look at the calendar real quick. Patch design. I thought I had my calendar. Okay, we'll do this. Next week, the Mississippi Art Educators Association is having a conference here at Mississippi College. They're actually going to be having that conference here in this class. So we will not have class next Thursday. Cool? Do not meet here, don't have to do anything. It would be a free day for you to work on this project. But we will continue. Next week will be a work week to work through this. I won't have any extra exercises for you to go through. That's November the 12th. This project, I do want to have it wrapped up by the 17th, correct? Didn't I put that on as your due date? Hope so. Pretty sure. As the 17th. On the 19th, we're going to have Miss Anna Hayes come and talk to us about our final project, which will be an advertising campaign and t-shirt design for us as well. Cool? And then that'll bring us into the end of the semester. All right, I'll turn your computers back over to y'all and let y'all get started.